What's up, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Happy Thursday. Let's go back and let's talk a little bit about temperature and moisture and then a potential issue within the concrete. So let's go back to this Monday here in Minnesota. It was about 95 degrees. I was out doing some training in a job and everything went really well. Ground well, mender was good. And then we went into Tuesday and it dropped down into about the 80s. We did base, flake, and top coat. All of that, the UBC and the ATC, no problem on a training floor. 45 minutes of working time was beautiful. And then Wednesday, yesterday, it dropped down to 65 degrees. So what does that do for the concrete or the coatings? We have a real high temp, say on Monday, and we're slowly decreasing to yesterday, Wednesday. Well, to be honest, it doesn't really do anything. The concrete is going to move a little bit, right? Expansion and contraction. This is where polyurea has a huge advantage. We left the control joints open, but condensation, temperature, humidity, it doesn't really play a factor when the temperature is falling from Monday to Wednesday. Today is Thursday. It did ramp back up into the 80s, but not dramatic enough to create a huge temperature swing. But if you go back and watch some of the old videos that I just posted, it's that really cool morning and then it increasingly ramps up into like the 90s and the humidity and dew point and floor temp, okay? That's when we really got to pay attention. So go check those out if you guys have any questions, again, on the temperature and humidity. But remember, if temperatures are falling through the week or even through the day, that's a good thing. You're winning. Now, let's also talk about some potential issues that I've seen over the course of years and things to be aware of from the sales side and the installation side. Well, if you guys have not installed for very long, you know that concrete actually can almost be cancerous, okay? Sounds kind of weird, but realistically, it can have things within the concrete that are bad for coatings, just bad in general. So from the beginning, we know that concrete typically has rebar in it. Well, the way that they place that rebar could be a potential problem to your floors. If we're looking at floors that have cracks that run in straight parallel lines, a grid pattern, typically the rebar is too close to the surface. Be cautious of that when you fill it, potential rust issues, and then future cracking. But what I want to touch on real quick is shale. Shale is a rock that concrete people in at least Minnesota, they use. You do see it throughout the country, but I see it a lot up here where it's actually a porous rock. So what can happen is the concrete gets finished, no problem, but then you start seeing quarter, dime size, maybe even up to softball size chips and pop outs. So it's not like salt damage where it's just kind of from the topical and it's consistent throughout where the cars park. This might be a spot right here, and a foot later there might be a spot, and then 3 feet over here there's a spot. It's random. But the problem is when you chip out, say, 100 spots in a floor and you fill them in with mender, and then you go ahead and put a coating over the top. It does not matter if it's polyurea, an epoxy system, even if you did an MVB system, what can happen is there's more shale within that concrete on the areas that you did not see. It can actually pop out. The downside to this is it's going to take the concrete with it no matter what. So it's not technically a coatings failure, but the customer is going to, of course, call you, you call me, and we walk through it together. You fix the floor and off you go. But remember that when you're doing your bid, if you see something that's maybe like a half moon crater, it hasn't popped yet, or a dime size all the way up to, say, your fist, or a softball sized pit that could be a quarter of an inch up to maybe an inch deep within the concrete that's kind of sporadically positioned, polka dotted through the concrete, that most likely could be a shale pop. Don't be afraid to kind of pop one of those out, maybe on an estimate, and kind of take a look if you see like an open bottom half of a shell of concrete, a rock underneath there. Be cautious of that because there's a lot more within the concrete that you just haven't seen and have not exploded yet with moisture. So hope that, guys, helps you out. If you guys have any questions, please comment below on what else you want to see. As always, I got you.